All right, so Colt McCoy, he's back. We all knew Colt McCoy would eventually be a good starting quarterback. It only took him till the age of 35 to finally figure it all out. Colt McCoy is back. He's going to be an elite quarterback. Okay, maybe not, but I think a lot of people are saying, wait, what just happened? Colt McCoy had a passer rating of 119.4 against, not a great team in the Niners, but at least like a competent team we expected at the very least. What the hell happened? Is the Cardinals offense just this good? Well, they're missing their best piece in DeAndre Hopkins. So how did this work? To me, this was yet another masterclass by Cliff Kingsbury, and we really need to start talking about him not as a Coach of the Year candidate, but probably a Coach of the Year frontrunner at this point with what he's done with Arizona. And listen, I mean, the real award for Coach of the Year is the Lombardi Trophy, right? So that's what you're going for. But, I mean, he's done such an incredible job with this team, and you could argue it's the talent. They didn't have the most talented team, and they still were awesome. So let's just talk about everything that happened with the Colt McCoy and the offense as a whole. All right, so let's start off with this play. It's actually kind of a clever concept. Again, we've gotten, for as someone like me who has been really following the Cardinals closely this season, they've been kind of, every season there's certain teams you can't get enough of. For me, it's the Cardinals offense. And Kingsbury, it's littered with just such fun stuff that just keeps working. On this play, it's a cover 3 zone the Niners are in, which is what you'll see them in relatively frequently. And it's a good concept to beat this, where you're going to fake as though you're going to have a screen pass right here. And, if you think about it, this is an important tackle to make. If this is a screen pass and you have someone who's going to run out and block, basically you need the other corner to come out or other defensive player to come out and make that immediate tackle. If he doesn't, the next closest guy is the safety, which is, it's going to be a big gain if you can miss one tackle. So you got to really make sure you do respect that. Of course, you have another receiver who's running a route over the middle, and it's not a screen pass, but he's faking as though he's blocking, and watch how well this works. Look, so basically what this did was the, 49ers player who's supposed to cover the flat area, so, basically where, I have it circled in yellow, he ran so far in, you've just stretched out this gap so wide. There was also a play action, which also helped stretch out this gap. I mean, this is as easy of a throw as it gets. You can sit here and say, well, hey, if Colt McCoy was able to make some of these throws, then maybe Kyler isn't as valuable. I could have made that throw. Doesn't mean I'm valuable, right? I'm not, very much so. This is definitely just a great play design by the Cardinals. Look, Colt McCoy is going to make a perfectly accurate throw. I probably should clarify just about that last comment. I get that the real logic is anyone could be successful in the Cardinals offense. I'm going to talk more on that in a second and more on the difference between McCoy and Kyler. There was also some stuff like this where what's going to happen here is that it's going to be a cover 3 zone and you're going to run a play action but then flip it back to a wide receiver. So, this is something teams do. This is something the Cardinals do. But this is actually going to be a wide receiver throw, which, I love these types of plays, right? I think we all love these types of plays, just sort of creative stuff. So look, you're going to see McCoy's going to flip the ball back to Christian Kirk. And at this point, both of the two 49ers players who I've circled who are in zone coverage right here are moving a lot further in, which makes sense, right? They think it's going to be a running play because there's someone who isn't a quarterback who is holding the football. So it makes sense to do this. And this does two things. One, it can work. But the other thing it does is basically it'll just get people to kind of have to respect this. Watch how Kirk is going to end up making this throw down the field and they get nearly a touchdown on that play. So that's awesome. That's a lot of fun. But the flip side about this is now what teams are going to do when they see this is they're going to have to respect receivers running down the field, and they're going to have to pay attention to that. So when you add on those two things together, there's just a ton of value in stuff like this. Again, this is why I say Cliff Kingsbury deserves to be in the Coach of the Year conversation, if not to win it. Now let's go over to a play like this. We got to talk about sort of how the goodness of Colt McCoy has kind of colored some people on Kyler Murray. And people have definitely brought up, well, this hurts Kyler Murray's MVP chances because A, you just miss a game, which that absolutely, can and should hurt. MVP chances. It's unfortunate, but, if the award is most valuable player, you can only add value if you're on the field. But the flip side is like, hey, the Cardinals don't really need Kyler Murray. They're still able to have success even without DeAndre Hopkins. With all these injuries they have, they're still able to be successful. But like a play like this, for example, where you see that there is going to be some, pressure with the right guard right here, and watch what's going to happen. Look, so McCoy takes the snap, and at this point, so his first read that he likes, which I believe is the one I've circled in yellow, might be underneath, but either way, neither one of those are open. So McCoy at this point is going to be in trouble, and this is where having Kyler would really come into play, right? This is where Kyler would, make the team better. Obviously, I think it's a dumb argument to even talk about, but I do think that this is an example of like the stuff that Kyler brings that someone like McCoy just doesn't. McCoy is going to get sacked, and like maybe Kyler doesn't make anything happen, but at least there's that option. Like the superstarness does come into play. But to me, what this game really did show was how much of, really how good Cliff Kingsbury has been this year, which is crazy because we all criticized him last year. He's just been so incredible. Just want to touch on that a little bit. It's a dumb narrative. Most people don't really care about it. It is out there, though. I touch on all narratives that come across my desk, basically. And by desk, I mean Twitter feed and what I see on Reddit. And there was also something like this where, listen, sometimes you win the lottery in football. Sometimes the play call you design is exactly right. And sometimes the play call you design is exactly right because you were prepared for it because what you see on tape and stuff like that. But anyways, on this play, what's going to happen is it's a man coverage play, and basically it's going to be a screen pass where you have multiple offensive linemen run out to lead block for the halfback. And if the player who's supposed to cover the halfback can read this play quick enough and get over and, get into the way where it can't be a screen pass, that's really the flaw in how it can be, bad to throw a screen pass in man. But the flip side is this, something like this can happen, where watch what happens. Right when this play starts, the San Francisco player in charge of covering the halfback, I'm not actually even exactly sure who it was, but whoever it was, rushes the passer, does not cover the back, so now the back doesn't have to worry about that. You think about the play design, if it's a cover one hole, there's two defensive players out there who are being left unaccounted for, because the other three players who are deep all have a receiver who can block them. So the other two players can be blocked by the two offensive linemen. You have somebody for everybody. Now, granted, that's still really difficult to do. There's so much space. Oftentimes, someone still does make the tackle. But look at what's going to happen here. I mean, this is just going to be a great piece of running and great piece of blocking downfield. Good job by everyone involved right there. I mean, I think this is a scary thing for the rest of the league that the Arizona Cardinals, just without their, their two most valuable players, in my opinion, the way I view football is I think the most important position is quarterback, and then it's wide receivers, and you lost, the guy who many people feel like has been the most valuable quarterback in the NFL, and a guy who most people, at least there's a good chunk of people who believe is the best receiver in football, and they just blew the brakes off of another team. So yeah, I mean, listen, I thought McCoy played fine. Like, McCoy is what he is. He's a fine backup quarterback who, had a notable college career and just has a great name. Like, that's why I like Colt McCoy. He has a fantastic quarterback name. It seems like it's the kind of name that, like, I'm convinced some teams have signed him to be their backup just because, like, oh, well, Colt McCoy, it's a great name. I'm convinced of that. But yeah, that's what I thought about this Cardinals game. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.